life is a difficult process. Infinitely challenging, it's ultimately challenging, because it's bounded by death and insanity and all these terrible things that can befall people. You need to chart a course that makes the travel worthwhile.
You're listening to Akira The Don, artist, DJ, wave lord, and architect of the Meaningwave
Chart a
universe.
course that makes the travel worthwhile. To chart a course that makes the travel worthwhile. And that's not happiness. It's a much more profound idea than that. It's more like adventure, I would say. It's more like the great adventure of your life. It's more like adventure. It's more like the great adventure of your life. It's more like adventure. It's more like the great adventure of your life. That's a difficult thing. It's not a tropical cruise with a Mai Tai in hand, although maybe now and then it could be that. But I think human beings, we're very tough and combative creatures, and we're really built for a load. You really see this hunger arising in young men for exactly a call to that kind of adventure. It's like, get the hell up, guys, get to work. There's things to be done. It's like, get the hell up, guys, get to work. There's things to be done. There's dragons to confront and things to set right. I believe that's the truth, and I believe that it's more powerful than fear and than suffering. And that's saying a lot. Because fear and suffering are real. It's more like adventure. It's more like the great adventure of your life. It's more like adventure. It's more like the great adventure of your life. It's more like adventure. It's more like the great adventure of your life. It's more like adventure. It's more like the great adventure of your life.
It's a beautiful day to be alive here at the peak of recorded human civilization.
If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. Music, please, please, please.
Akira.
The Don. Nice.
Now, every lecture I've ever given has included my tribute to my Uncle Alex, my brother's kid brother, who was a graduate of Harvard and a wise man, a distant insurance salesman in Indianapolis. He was childless. But what Uncle Alex found objectionable about so many human beings is that they so seldom noticed it when they were happy. And so we would be sitting under an apple tree, for instance, on a July afternoon drinking lemonade and, talking about this and that, practically buzzy like honeybees. And Uncle Alex would stop everything and say, wait a minute, stop. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. If this isn't nice, would do that again and again, and it was very good advice, and I've taken it up. And I hope that you will take up this habit too, of noticing when things are really awfully nice, and say, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. And say, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. If this isn't nice, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I don't know what is.
Meaningwave.com, because happiness is a side effect of meaning.
I view social media as a mirror. I think what people are putting out is an incredible indicator of what's inside of them. So right now there's a lot of political anxiety. There's a lot of ideological anxiety. And so what we're seeing is a lot of judgment. We consume as animals. And I think if one feels overwhelmed, they should stop consuming. Stop consuming. I don't put social media consumption in a very different place than the films and music and books that one reads. The collective replies to people's angst is no different than Kurt Cobain's singular angst. And I think we're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for. We're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for. I think it's great. I don't care about social media. I really don't. I care about humans communicating with each other. I'm fascinated by communication, and I'm fascinated that we now have a collective ability to communicate at a scale that we've never seen before. And I think right now people are focusing on the downside of that. If you're signing into Twitter to find a fight, or to find somebody to fight with, to see some negativity, you're gonna find it. I think if you go to Twitter or Instagram to find happiness and positivity, it's there at scale. And I think we're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for. We're forgetting the upside. There's so much love and greatness going on every day. Forgetting the upside. Humans find what they're looking for.
I think a lot of what happiness is a management issue. You could be in a shit state of mind right now, but you can make some decisions to adjust that, and over the next couple hours, you'll get to a much better place. And these constant management decisions, they waver in and out of your life on a daily basis. Like this idea that you could have a good mindset and then all of a sudden you'll be happy. I mean, that's horseshit. It's like the tide. It comes in and it comes out. There's gonna be days where you're just not feeling so good physically. That's going to affect the way your happiness level is. It's never static. It's never exactly the same. Me? I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. This is what I would say. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. This is what I would say. It's like hunger. It goes in and out. It's always there. This is something I've cultivated for a long time and avoided things that make me unhappy and figured out what those things are and been very rigid about eliminating them from my life. There's a lot of cynicism in these days about inspiration and motivation because there's a lot of fake shit. See a million of these inspirational quote pages run by people that are probably depressed. You know, you see a lot of people that are talking about how to get ahead in life, but they're not really doing anything themselves. So there's a lot of cynicism involved in that. But there's also sincerity in it. If you just look at it with a pure heart and a pure mind, you can get a lot of energy out of that. And when you're around happy, inspirational people that are successful, it makes you feel better. And you get inspired. And if you act on that inspiration, your life will be more fulfilled. And it's not just inspirational in terms of financial success, but in terms of doing difficult things. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. This is what I would say. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. This is what I would say. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that think somehow or another you're gonna get to some place where you're living in silk sheets and you're getting your toes done, someone's dropping grapes into your mouth. I don't want that. That guy's not gonna be happy. He's gonna be bored. An hour into the grape, get those fucking grapes away from me. Stop painting my toes. What am I doing in this bed? I gotta do something. The human organism, the animal that we are, needs constant stimulation because it evolved trying to find food and escape enemies. And this is the great joy that you have in taking care of your children. You can protect your children from the elements and the enemies. And it's also the great sadness that you see in losers. When I see a loser, I see some guy who's 43 years old, who lives in his parents' basement, and he fucking hates the world. I'm like, that was a baby that somebody just gave shitty nutrients to, food or in thoughts and ideas and examples. And this kid developed these horrible, self-defeating patterns of behavior that have led them to this point where they're this person with no future and no idea of how to get out of this rut and probably never will escape it. And might just wind up sucking on a gun. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. This is what I would say. I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. This is what I would say. This is the world that we live in today. And I think part of that world is because we have been fed this line of horseshit that you're supposed to seek comfort. And I don't think you are. I think you're supposed to seek lessons, and you're supposed to seek difficult tasks. Because if I just think, well, tomorrow I'm just gonna coast and eat Twinkies and watch TV. Oh, hello, sadness, my old friend. Hello, depression. Because when you're not doing anything, you feel like shit. And that's just a part of being a human being. And we can pretend that we're something other than what we really are. And we can pretend, nah, me, man, I'm just cool, just chilling, doing nothing. Bullshit. You're a fucking human. You evolved from the fucking hundreds of thousands of years of hunters and gatherers and people that were struggling. Human reward systems are carved deeply into your DNA. And if you don't respect that, if you don't respect the mechanism of happiness and fulfillment and what you really need to do in order to feel satisfied in life, come happy. I'm pretty fucking happy. I'm pretty fucking happy.
Broadcasting live from the peak of recorded human civilization. You're listening to Akira The Don.
A lot of people say, oh, I just want to they're kind of dabbling in the idea of improving themselves. And the real way to do it is you got to write down what the fuck you want and then go after it. You are in the part of the movie that starts and it shows you as a fucking loser. Just decide not to be a loser anymore.
Just decide not to be a loser anymore.
Okay. Live your life like there's a documentary crew following you around and you are analyzing your own behavior. Do what you would want to do so that your kids one day would look back at it and see that documentary and look on it with pride, like, wow, my dad was a bad motherfucker. My dad was a bad motherfucker. He really did what he had to do. Wow, my mom really got her shit together. Those are my favorite stories. I love a success story, but even more than a success story, I like a dude who fucks his life up and then gets it back together again story. Those are my favorite stories. Those are my favorite stories. Like, wow, my dad was a bad motherfucker. Those are my favorite stories. I love a success story, but even more than a success story, I like a dude who fucks his life up and then gets it back together again story. And the way to do that, you gotta write shit down. You gotta think that you are the hero in your own fucking movie, and then you gotta sit down and you gotta write shit down. Write down what you need to do.
Most people play the role of the victim in the movie.
Sure, yeah, this life is fucking me over, man. I could've had this and I should've had that. And why does this guy get that? And why does that guy get this? All things that are completely unrelated to you. All things that you find other people's success is a downfall in your own existence. Instead of being inspired and choosing to be positive, trying to achieve whatever the fuck you have written down, you just sit around and spiral. Those are my favorite stories. Those are my favorite stories. Like, wow, my dad was a bad motherfucker. Those are my favorite stories. I love a success story, but even more than a success story, I like a dude who fucks his life up and then gets it back together again story. There's nothing more miserable than sitting around someone who's fucking complaining all the time. It is one of the most annoying things ever. Everybody hates it. When someone just sits around and they complain about their life and they don't do jack shit about it. And you tiptoe around it, you don't know what to say. Well, she gets upset when you bring that up. I don't want to bring that up. And you want to go, you fucking crazy bitch, you know what's wrong with your life. Stop announcing it to everybody else and go out and fix that shit. Fix that shit. Fix that shit. Bitch, you know what's wrong with your life. Stop announcing it to everybody else and go out and fix that shit. My dad was a bad motherfucker. He really did what he had to do. Wow, my mom really got her shit together. Those are my favorite stories. I love a success story, but even more than a success story, I like a dude who fucks his life up and then gets it back together again story. Those are my favorite stories. Those are my favorite stories. Like, wow, my dad was a bad motherfucker. Those are my favorite stories. I love a success story, but even more than a success story, I like a dude who fucks his life up and then gets it back together again story.
Meaningwave, because music is everything.
Akira.
Question I guess it keeps coming up to me was, what are we supposed to do?
Well, I keep saying, de-emphasize anxiety, reassure people. You meet people who say, I'm really scared. I'm scared about my job. I'm scared. It's just, don't worry. don't know enough to worry. That's God's truth. Who do you think you are that you should worry, for crying out loud? Don't worry. That's God's truth. It's a total waste of time. It presupposes such a knowledge of the situation that it is in fact a form of hubris. Now what you do is just pay your bills and, pack heat if you need to, and don't worry. That's all. Yes. Worry is praying to the devil. That's great. Worry is betting against yourself. Wepo Yang, a great Chinese Taoist who wrote many, many commentaries on the I Ching. He was asked at the end of his life what was his conclusion of a life of studying the I Ching. He said, worry is preposterous. That was it. Don't worry. You don't know enough to worry. That's God's truth. Who do you think you are that you should worry, for crying out loud? Don't worry. That's God's truth. You don't know enough to worry. That's God's truth. Who do you think you are that you should worry, for crying out loud? That's God's truth. Worry is preposterous. Don't worry. Worry is preposterous. Don't worry. Worry is preposterous. Worry is preposterous. Don't worry. Worry is preposterous. Worry is preposterous. That's God's truth. That's God's truth.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.
Jung had a patient come to him who felt alone, and she drew a picture of herself as caught in the rocks.
Well, I'll be damned.
From the waist down, she was bound in rocks, and this was on a windy shore, the wind blowing and her hair blowing, and all the gold, which is the sign of the vitality of life, was locked in the rocks. The next picture that he had her draw had followed something he had said to her. Suddenly, a lightning flash hit the rocks, and the gold came pouring out. And then she found reflected on rocks round about the gold. There was no more gold in the rocks. It was all available on the top. And in the conferences that follow, those patches of gold were identified. They were her friends. She wasn't alone, but she had locked herself in her own little room and life. But she had friends. But she had friends. Do you see what I'm meaning? This is killing the dragon. This is killing the dragon. And in doing that, you save the world. Kill the dragon, 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 save the world. Save the world. Save the world. Kill the dragon, save the world. Kill the dragon, save the world. Kill the dragon, save the world.
How do I slay that dragon in me? What's the journey I have to make, you have to make, each of us has to make? You talk about something called the soul's high adventure.
My general formula for my students is follow your bliss till you find where it is, and don't be afraid to follow it. Follow your bliss till you find where it is, and don't be afraid. If the work that you're doing is the work that you chose to do because you were enjoying it, that's it. But if you think, oh gee, I couldn't do that, that's your dragon locking you in. Oh no, I couldn't be a writer. Oh no, I couldn't do what so-and-so is doing.
Unlike the classical heroes, we're not going on our journey to save the world, but to save ourselves.
And in doing that, you save the world. I mean, you do. The influence of a vital person vitalizes. There's no doubt about it. The world is a wasteland. People have the notion of saving the world by shifting it around and changing the rules and so forth. No, any world is a living world if it's alive. And the thing is to bring it to life. And the way to bring it to life is to find in your own case where your life is and be alive yourself, it seems to me. If you have someone who can help you, that's fine too. But ultimately, the last trick has to be done by you. This is killing the dragon. And in doing that, you save the world. Kill the dragon, 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 save the world. Save the world. Save the world. Kill the dragon, 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 save the world.
Right now, today. This is the real me, obviously. I'm a very philosophical person. And I'm gonna go there with you real quick. I believe in a higher power. Don't know the name, don't know where it's coming from, don't know anything like that. But I believe that this power, and visualize me real quick. Let's say it's a man up there or a woman, whatever, and they have a chart. And when you're born, they say David Goggins, born February 17, 1975 at 6 a.m. They write the chart down because they can see everything. They know exactly where you're fucking supposed to be. They know where you're supposed to be. You die, you go to so-called heaven. You arrive at heaven, I'm 300 pounds. I retired as an Ecolab guy, which is okay, just a job, whatever. I go up there, and God looks at me and he shows me my chart. And my chart on there says you're supposed to be a Navy SEAL. You're supposed to weigh 185 pounds. You're supposed to be one of the smartest people on the planet, this, all this. You see this. And now you're in heaven, you made it to heaven, but you're like, God, Doug, I was supposed to live that life. I was supposed to live that life. And then you find out that the reason why, because we all think that if we pray on it, if we do this, if we do that, whatever, if we don't work, whatever, it's gonna magically happen for us. No. I believe that when I'm all said and done with, my whole job is to outwork the chart. Whatever the fucking chart says about me, the all-knowing power up there, I want to get up there and him look at me and say, I know everything. I didn't fucking see this. I didn't fucking see this.
get to the other end of this fucking world, and however I'm being judged, whoever's judging me, to look at me and say, I did not fucking know. I had you at 185, I had you at this, but all this other shit, I was riding as you were living it. I want to find more. All I can. And in that fucking sack of shit, you have to dive in that to find more. Because if you're not willing to go in there and face yourself, then I can find anything. You can live right here on surface, man, right here on surface. So if there is an ending to this world, and there is somewhere to go, and there's a judgment, you're gonna get there and you might see a chart. And that chart might tell you who the fuck you should have been. And now you get the rest of your life to think about that. Man, I could have lived a much better life if I just would have just suffered a little bit more. If I just would have went in that shit and realized I had so much more. But fear and the 40% and living here versus living here, being afraid, stop me. So that's, I'm a big guy in visualizing. I'm a big guy in making a world, it may not exist. To me it does. To me it does. And I'm overpowering myself every day. And you gotta find tools to do that. That's a tool that I use. So that's what it's all about. I believe that when I'm all said and done with, my whole job is to outwork the chart. Whatever the fucking chart says about me, the all-knowing power up there, I want to get up there and him look at me and say, I know everything. I didn't fucking see this. I didn't fucking see this. I want to feel that. I know everything. I didn't fucking see this. I didn't fucking see this. I want to feel that. 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 I want to feel that.
You know, it's funny, I never used to think about the fact about loving myself. I just wasn't that guy. The thing about loving myself came when I hit rock bottom. And I really hit bottom, and it was a desperate attempt to save myself. I really fundamentally believe in the power of commitment and making commitments to yourself. You gotta keep them. And in this desperate moment, I've made this vow to myself. I was at bottom. My company had fallen apart. I lost everything. I was really sick. I was miserable. I was depressed. One morning or one night, it was dark. And I just got out of my bed and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm either gonna get out of this or die trying. And I walked over to my journal, grabbed my pen, and I wrote. I knew I had to make a vow to myself to get out of this. I didn't know what. And I just sat down and I wrote, it was freehand. I vow to love myself. 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 Where that came from, I had no idea. I still don't. It was a pure primal vow. It came from like a deep place of literally I was trying to save myself. When I realized that, what I'd done, I was like, okay, I don't know how to do that. You gotta figure out, because I made a commitment to myself, and a vow to yourself is a sacred act. You do that, you keep it, and life will change. And and I had to figure out how to do it. I knew I had to work on my internal self. It wasn't about taking bubble baths. It's an internal thing. It's a mindset. It's a belief. It's a rock solid belief where your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions rise from. If they rise from there, then your life rises from there.
I vow to love myself. 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 I vow to love myself.
We're human beings, and fundamentally, we're stuck with the human mind. This monkey brain that runs around on this untamed horse, right? The details differ. Core is the same. And fundamentally, it's fear and love. I had a literal near-death experience, and that's what I experienced. The only things that came up were fear and love, fear and love. And those are the primary motivators. Fear and love, fear and love. Fear and love, fear and love. You can't fight fear. You can't fight darkness. Darkness is the absence of light. So what you do is you work on the light. You bring the light in, and that takes away the darkness. And so that's something I actually really learned trying to save myself. If I worked on the light, it would take care of the rest. And that's love. And that's love.
I vow to love myself. 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 I vow to love myself.
Meaningwave.com, because happiness is a side effect of meaning.
Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. That is to say, it doesn't have some destination that it ought to arrive at. But it is best understood by analogy with music. Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful. We say you play the piano. You don't work the piano. Why? Music differs from, say, travel. When you travel, you are trying to get somewhere. One doesn't make the end of a composition the point. If that were so, the best conductors would be those who played fastest. And there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to a concert just to hear one crashing chord. Because that's the end. Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful, but it is best understood by analogy with music. Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful. Same way in dancing. You don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of the dancing is the dance. Now, but we don't see that as something brought by our education into our everyday conduct. We've got a system of schooling which gives a completely different impression. It's all graded. And what we do is we put the child into the corridor of this grade system. So they kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten, you know, and that's a great thing because when you finish that, you'll get into first grade. And then come on, first grade leads to second grade and so on, and then you get out of grade school, you go to high school, and it's revving up, the thing is coming. Then you're going to go to college, and by Jove, then you get into graduate school. And when you're through with graduate school, you go out to join the world. Then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance, and they've got that quota to make. And you're going to make that. And all the time, the thing is coming. It's coming. It's coming. That great thing. That great thing. Thing is coming. It's coming. It's coming. That great thing. That great thing. The success you're working for. Then when you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different from what you always felt. By expectation. Look at the people who live to retire and put those savings away. And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left, they're more or less impotent, and they go and rot in a senior citizens community. Because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end. Success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven, after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played. The physical universe is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. Existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. But it is best understood by analogy with music. Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful.
It's a beautiful day to be alive here at the peak of recorded human civilization.